options-wise, can we turn the volume down? Ambience volume effects. We'll leave it like that for the time being. Controls. Yes, those are some controls. Turn the music down a little bit because I'm struggling to hear myself speak. Edgy. I suppose I should wait a little bit to see who and how, what people arrive. Dynamic backgrounds, text. Let's have them large. Typing speed. Super normal. Let us see and wait to see who shows up. I'm going to check to see that automated tweet sent properly. Hello Comic Lounge. Currently what is up are lights and a ceiling. I'm alright. Thank you for asking. I'm rather excited for this. I didn't think I would be. But here I am. Yes, that tweet did send. Huzzah. I wish it wouldn't put live at after the end of it. It's a bit silly. What do you think is a good sensible number of people to join us before we get stuck in? Because I don't want to rush on ahead and people miss too much. I was thinking 10, but that might be pushing it. I'm going to hit new game in the hope it doesn't launch us straight into anything. Choose a save slot. Choose the middle. Okay, so what we've got. 3 clans. Bruja, Ventru and Toreador. Bruja. The rabble rebel against power and rage against authority. A seemingly insignificant man with significant ideas will join their ranks tonight. That is the most smartest looking Bruja I have ever seen. He looks more like a Toreador. And the Toreador looks more like a Bruja. Alright, Ventru. The aristocratic blue bloods embody wealth, that, and control. A top-level corporate executive will join their ranks tonight. And finally the Toreador. The divas seek thrills of art, romance and cruelty. Amidst stagnant undeath. A tormented artist will join their ranks tonight. Well, they certainly don't have a lot of diversity going on. Man, woman and black. It would be nice if there were a few more clans or maybe some ethnic and gender options. I mean, I'm presuming that these are just male and female anyway. Also, the clans themselves, they're the easiest to write for, or stereotype, I suppose. What to pick? For the 4 people who've joined me this afternoon, thank you very much. Just curious, volume-wise, how is everything? Music and mic levels. Too loud? Too quiet? I've got no idea how to adjust the mic levels whilst I'm streaming. I'm going to presume everything's okay? Maybe? Yes. Okay. So, I think I'm going to choose... Well, I'm not going to choose the Bruja just yet, because they're my least favourite clan. Thank you, Carleen. Thank you very much. It's very helpful. Ventru would be fun, I reckon. But I'm going to start with the Toreador. Cool, thank you very much, Comic Lounge. I'm glad to see I was sensible and got the volume sorted before I started streaming. Ah, they have default names. Okay, so we've got Lamar the Toreador, Amanda the Ventru. Eric. Wow, that's a name that inhibits fear. Ooh. Toreador. Alright, what should we call our Toreador? Anyone got some amazing names for our little Toreador? PMSL? I presume that's an abbreviation of something. What would be a good Toreador name? Quentin. I like it, it's arty. I'm going to see if there's less lag, or any lag at all with the live stuff via my phone, because I can't really see the screen with the text properly. Caesar. Caesar. I like that one. Caesar's ringing with me a lot at the moment. I'm going to go for Caesar. Thank you very much for that wonderful suggestion. And I might do a separate run of this off camera. I might call the Ventru Quentin or something. Just making sure I get that spelling correct. Caesar. Alright. Let's begin. Before it froze then. Okay, that's much louder than I anticipated it to be now. Just gonna hop into the music and just the settings and just turn that down a little. This would be fine if I was just doing it on my own. Yes, it is. Well, it came out on PC December 4th, 19th, I want to say, or December 11th. It was released on Switch yesterday and PS4 today, and I've spent the last half an hour downloading it. Yes, it's the newest Vampire the Masquerade video game, and the first one to hit consoles, I think. Alright. Those are the settings sorted. New York taught me to believe in fate. Had you asked me about the fate back when I was a human, I would have told you it's just superstitious bullshit. That we were all designers of our own destinies. That belief shattered when the richest woman in the United States, the actual richest one, not a face you could have seen in the papers of course, sank her teeth deep into my neck. It happened in the very same place you're standing in right now, by the way. Fate, you decide. Please, there's absolutely no need to be hostile. Just listen a little longer. See, my mistake was that I flew too close to the sun. It makes sense that my punishment was to never see its glow again. I was incandescent myself. I was... Oh, sorry. Just wanted to scroll up. I was incandescent myself. I was hot shit. I had it all. Money, looks, confidence, connections, men, women, a career, and a spark in my eye. The one you need to be born with. And that's when someone far more powerful than me saw my radiance and thought, that won't do. She robbed me of the light erupting from within, and gave me a subtle, enduring gleam in its place. She decided that would fit me much better. She was a 9th generation kindred, just like you, an apex predator. She probably enjoyed teaching me the peak of human intelligence, my real place in the food chain. It's such an eyesore when you look at some of the loudmouth braggart and see them for all they really are. The temptation to teach them a lesson can be unbearable, right? Well, my sire's lesson was a lesson about fate, a message saying, "You're eternally doomed to be at the mercy of your sovereigns." It almost drove me to destroy myself. What saved me was the ability to reinterpret her teachings. Hers wasn't a message of doom, it was a message of hope. Fate exists, and one can shape it if given the right tools. My sire didn't believe my tools were fitting for the job. She considered them toys, and me, her amusing subject. Well, she's deader than dead now, and I'm still here, standing right where she stood when we first met. You might have wondered how I've learned about your arrival to JFK Airport. My answer is, of course, destiny. As luck would have it, today happened to be a day some of my associates were inspecting the coffins. Driving you here straight from the plane and having you wake up in such an unfamiliar place was a little desperate. And I do apologize for it. But it is so rare for you to visit New York 3 times in the last 15 years, was it? And you're never eager to inform me you're here. I understand you're still here. Oh. I understand you still have that meeting on the 33rd Street later tonight, so I'll provide a comfortable transport. I value our relationship very much, don't get me wrong. But it is precisely because I value it that I'm going to ask you to repay the favour you owe me. You're the only one I trust to do the job. Well, and without attracting attention. You might think I'm crazy, asking you to breach the rules of our societies like this. You might think it's impossible to get away with it unpunished. But this is New York, and I don't know about other cities. But in this one, fate really exists. And right now, it's smiling in your favour. This is how it begins. You stifle a yawn. Hello, Milkless. Thank you for joining me. Us. Sorry. Us. I'm going to decrease the text size, because I won't hopefully be able to scroll so quickly, and time the typing speed to slow. Okay. So it's an interesting start. Those icons are a bit, I don't know, open source. Anyway, you stifle a yawn. It's been slow. It's been a slow evening. We will get into the mood of this properly. I'm just trying to, first time playing it, just going to try and find the right settings for everything. The little bit of red liquid left in your glass and the crumbs on the plate remind you that, if nothing else, these art exhibitions at least come with some decent wine and legit catering. And yeah, it's fun to talk about your work on display, even if you end up discussing it with pretty much the same people at each such occasion. You've already met that one critic who keeps telling you, with self-assured authority, how you should pursue a different artistic avenue. Then there's the obligatory, doe-eyed art student who's oh so impressed with your technique. To be fair, you're not all that happy with your latest piece, but hey, it's not the worst thing you've seen tonight. That ignoble, dubious honour belongs to one of the other paintings on display. And yet, its author, currently being paraded around by his rich parents, has barely been able to grab a bite of the fancy canapes. So many sycophants to meet, so little time. For a moment, you think that maybe it's not worth it. Maybe you should take to the critic's advice, cut your losses, sell out to some corporation and get over it. And, as if the universe wanted to validate that train of thought, that's the exact moment your sister Emma decides to pop up in your view. Ah, Emma's my dog's name. Ah, that was a surprise. Of course, she looks a bit moody. So let me get this straight. Crushy corporate jobs are selling out, but supporting a billionaire's vanity project is totally fine with you. Hi, Em. You absolutely despise her as an artist. While you're struggling to uphold some nebulous ideals of what art is meant to be, she's perfecting her ways of mooching off the system. Shamelessly preying on the little-known street art and niche internet memes, she repackages them as Borgie-friendly collages. What is wrong with turning memes into art? How very dare you? So it's perhaps no wonder the NYT has recently dubbed her a mind-blowing explorer of digital art's extreme possibilities. Yeah, that's memes in a nutshell. But in spite of all of that, you absolutely love her as a person, even as you welcome her by smacking the back of her head, a gesture meant to convey nothing but deep affection. No, but seriously, supporting young artists my ass. I don't know what kind of money you got for this place, and I doubt it was even a fraction of what's going to be worth in tax benefits. The gallery owner actually said that if he had to choose his most valuable audience, it would be the IRS, and I'm pretty sure he was only half kidding. You mumble a non-answer, and then segue into a different subject, trying to preemptively quell her repeated offers to get you a steady job. Of course, she proves as insistent as ever. You know, sometimes I just don't get you. On the one hand, you wouldn't be caught taking debt money from the inevitable winner of the culture wars. On the other, if someone gave you the chance to collaborate on some dumbass Oscar bait flick sponsored by Larry Ellison's bailout fund, you do that shit for free. She rolls her eyes and asks, you know what the only difference is between the art scene and the culture industry? The culture industry actually pays your bills. Ooh, that got me right in the feels. As an artist myself. As expected of someone who's given up attempts to infuse her work with any sort of enduring quality and decided to just keep responding to the zeitgeist. She claims to happily accept the fate that after she dies, both she and her work will end up in a landfill. That's the confidence. When you respond that you prefer chasing in a one-of-a-million chance to immortalize yourself, she claims it reeks of an overinflated ego. But you've been down this road too many times before and managed to accept you'll never understand what's truly important to you. Slowly but surely, you move on to more agreeable topics. Your plans to finally get hammered together, or the most recent crop of garbage Netflix shows your friends have tricked you into trying out. Alright, gotta go. I've got a date. That makes one of us. She peeks at a bunch of middle-aged men in expensive suits who have stopped pretending to care about the exhibition and are exchanging the worst lecherous jokes that they've got in their stale repertoire. Have fun with your friends, class traitor. She gives you a hug and heads for a nearby elevator. There goes the pleasant part of the evening. Still, you decide to delay the inevitable and catch a quick smoke break. I do not. Filthy habit. Anyway, truth be told, people aren't exactly lining up to chat about your work anyway. As you leave your post, you start tapping your pockets in the search of a lighter. Instead, you find a $100 bill you're absolutely sure wasn't there before. It is very bad for you. Bad smoking, people. Jesus Christ, Em, you're the worst. And the best. You can feel your cheeks turn red, but you gratefully put the money in your wallet and move outside. Oh, that's pretty. Lots of green lights. And the little flies around the lights as well. Oh, cool. Anyway, when you reach the balcony, you look out at New York City and light the second last cigarette left in the pack. You're alone. It's not silent. The metropolitan hum is ever present, even this high up. But it's a good deal more intimate than what's behind your back. You lean over the railing and look down. The street lights beckon more than usual. In your mind's eye, you see yourself as your final artwork, beautifully splattered all over the pavement. Oh Jesus. Working title: Delusion of Grandeur. The author: a brilliant artistic soul, crushed by unfeeling reality, gone too soon. You chuckle and flick the cigarette into the air. Jesus, that's depressing. Freshened up by the night's cool breeze, you squeeze back into the stuffy interior. You barely make it a few steps before lethargy sets back in. It's like you never left. Still, something in the room feels different. Your eyes are drawn to a handsome man, neatly dressed and groomed, exuding the air of a true artiste. And the best part? He's intently looking at your painting. The gallery is almost like an art installation itself. Now, people standing in silent awe, the guy like a beacon drawing everybody's attention. I wonder if this is someone using presents. Hushed conversations about the guest can be heard from every corner of the gallery. Your heart is pounding with excitement, and you approach feeling like a kid trying to get closer to a deer in the woods, but you're afraid you'll scare it away. The man turns towards you, and you stop in your tracks, entranced. Okay, if that guy's not Toreador, I'll eat my hat. Ah, so this is one of your pieces. You manage to mumble an affirmation. Tell me about it, please. As you start discussing your inspiration, technique and process, the man's eyes lock into the painting again. He keeps interjecting, making knowing remarks. This guy gets it. He really gets it. The world around you disappears. You'll say anything, do anything to keep his attention on you, but you realise you don't need to. He's into your art. He's into you. I want to buy it, and I want your company. I need to talk to you. You'll like what I have to say. Okay, so this is our sire, I bet. Spoken matter-of-factly, served straight up like he knows that you won't refuse. That you can't refuse. An hour later, you find yourself at his apartment. One of many, you presume, with your self-esteem all but patched up and your head full of fine vintage. You tell your host a lot. In fact, it seems like you're telling him everything. Where you came from, how you ended up in NYC, how you had to take out a loan to appear at tonight's event, how you took the long look down the balcony, that you thought about taking the plunge, and this time you were only half joking. Good God. You feel miserable. You start crying. He holds you in his arms. You feel calmer now. The tears stop flowing. It's been so long since you last had someone who could just not talk. Sorry, I'll try that again. It's been so long since you last had someone you could not just talk to, but communicate with, be seen by. Who knows? Maybe there is hope for you yet. That feeling of bliss is that last thing you remember before passing out. Think it's too late, Milkless. Next thing you know, you're lying on the couch in that same apartment, hungry and dehydrated. How long has it been? Hours? Days? More? You're feeling weak, confused, abandoned. You look around in a panic. Is he still here? Thank God, yes, there he is, standing in the doorway. His voice breaks the silence and fills you with hope, until you realise that what he's saying. I'm so sorry. I hope that maybe one night you will forgive me. Always remember that in our parting moment, I wished you well. You try to speak, ask him to stay, but no voice leaves your parched throat. You taste something on your lips. Wiping your mouth leaves a crimson stain on your hand. It's not the wine. What the fuck? The door of the apartment closes behind him, alone again. Then the pain hits. It's a headache, a lurching in your stomach, a burning in your arms and legs. It's all you can focus on, A panic takes you. You fall from the sofa and hit a wine glass. It flies off into a wall, shattering into bits. A mumble from the corner of the room indicates that you're not as alone as you thought. From where you're lying, you only see a feminine shape stirring awake. You crawl towards the woman, inch by inch. The pain turns into an urge. You need to get close to her. You begin to see the details. Blonde hair shrouding her face, the worn-out NYC hoodie thrown over her skimpy dress. She opens her eyes, moves her locks to the side, exposes her neck. A rabid instinct takes you. In the blink of an eye, you find yourself buried in her hair, smelling her sweat, mixed with just a hint of cheap perfume. You bite down and drink the blood from her vein. Wait. What is happening? You break away. You look at the girl. She lets out a sigh, goes limp and unconscious again. You try to crawl back, her dress rolled up to the side, and you glance at her naked thigh. You lose control again. Bite her leg. Drink deep from the artery. It's intoxicating. It's bliss like you've never known before. It's beautiful. You break away again, fall to your back. What the hell was that? Did you really drink her blood? She's not moving. Oh God. She's not moving. You check her pulse. She's cold to the touch. Nothing. No heartbeat. No sign of breathing. That's when it hits you. Your chest isn't moving either. Your heart is not beating. You are cold to the touch. You reach for your phone. It's not there. Where did you leave it? Maybe he took it. It's impossible to say. You stumble around the apartment but find nothing you can use to call to help. You need to get out of here. Now. You look outside the window. You're high above the streets. There's no balcony, and the building's exterior is glassed almost all the way down. You'd never survive the jump. But maybe that's precisely why you should leave the room this way. You just killed someone. Your life is essentially over. A sickening void is opening in your stomach, warning you that your reality is about to turn into an unbearable hell. A voice in the back of your head tells you that the smartest course of action is to take the leap before it does, and the more you argue with it, the more reasonable it sounds. You're just about ready to pick up one of the chairs to try and break the window, when you hear the clicking of keys in the lock. You freeze in place. This is bad. Your thoughts start racing desperately, but instead of a rational course of action, only visions of false hope come to your mind. What if it's him? What if he's changed her heart? What if he's had a change of heart? What if he sent someone for me? You almost feel your heart beat again with excitement as the door opens. Almost, but not quite. A man enters, but not the one you'd expected. He's tall, broad-shouldered, handsome, with darkish skin. His suit is stylish and immaculate. You've never seen him in your life, but you immediately see past his sharp looks to see his proper nature. He is a predator, and if you're not careful, you might become his prey. Oh, hello, handsome. Good evening. I'm here to pick you up. A deep, emotionless voice. He turns his eyes to the lifeless body of the girl in the NYC hoodie and raises an eyebrow. I killed her. Oh, alright. I think I killed her. Yes, that does seem to be the case. He approaches the bed to examine the corpse from up close. Well, this is unfortunate, but preferable to going insane from hunger. Quite a nice gesture, actually, if troublesome. He briefly looks at you with something like pity in his eyes, then changes his expression to a perfectly blank one. Listen, you may perceive your current situation as something like out of the ordinary, but I've met hundreds of lost sheep like you, and you see, they tended to fall into two categories. First, there were the smart ones, those who carefully obeyed my every word and didn't pull off any stupid stunts. They always got where they needed to get safe and sound. To go safe and sound. Then, there were the dumb ones. The punks who thought they could take me on. The wise guys who tried to contact somebody secretly and without permission. The troublemakers who tried to run off or make a scene. Suppose this guy's the sheriff. Or perhaps a primogen or harpy? None of them got to their destination in one piece. In fact, a lot of them never reached their destination at all. The man talks in a bored, professional tone, giving off an impression that he really has delivered this speech countless times by now. So you see, despite being a smart person, I'm a Mets fan. I love baseball, and it's inspired me to come up with a free strike system to determine if someone is dumb. If you get on my nerves one or two times, well, I understand. Not all of us perform well in stressful circumstances. But if you do it 3 times, understand that there will be no excuses, no excuse, no forgiveness, no mercy. His presence changes ever so slightly. Say, I understand, sir. Now. You feel an overwhelming, barely resistible urge to fulfill his demand. See event true, because I feel he's dominating us. Fuck you, sir. What are you talking about? Can you just tell me what's going on here? No, and that is your first strike. Alright, have you got anyone you'd like to inform about your current situation and tell them that you're alright? He flashes his fangs briefly as he talks, and for some reason, the sight causes a chill to run down your spine. Something's wrong with him. Someone closest to you. He doesn't seem all that close with his sister. But as I don't particularly want to annoy him anymore, I'll go with the top one. Emma. My sister. She's probably having a night out in Brooklyn with her artiste friends. Can I call her now? Oh, I reckon he's going to kill her. Oh, no. You take out your phone while asking the question. It was in your pocket all along. It must have been panic talking before. He shakes his head and points at the hooded corpse next to him. If you want to implicate her, go ahead. I think we'd all be better off if you let me make sure that she only knows what she needs to know. Yeah, agreed. Give me her phone number. I'll have someone get in touch with her. You oblige and hand him the smartphone so he can copy the number from your list of contacts. Thank you. This will be useful in illustrating my next point. Instead of giving your phone back, the man hides it in his pocket. From this night onwards, you are subject to different laws than the ones you grew up with, and you'll be watched by many eyes to ensure these laws are respected. You are forbidden from letting anybody you know that you're still alive. You're forbidden from showing your face anywhere they know you. If anyone comes to search for you, it's over, both for you and for them. He interrupts his monotone recitation to stare deep into your eyes. So if you don't want someone to find your poor sister's body in the Hudson River next week, cooperate. The sight of his fangs again, and another physical flight or fight response. You've played right into his hands, putting M in danger. Meh, they would have found her anyway. I didn't like her anyway. I can only hope that you care for her enough not to do anything selfish. By now, you are absolutely sure he's just toying with you, provoking you just to feed on your reactions. He hasn't told you where you're going yet, but he's already made it abundantly clear that a lot of people struggled hard to avoid getting there. You'd be far more eager to cooperate if he never raised the subject, but he made it a point to make you fear the unknown. He's pushing you, but to what end? Does he want to intimidate you into the complete submission? Is he hoping you'd give him an excuse to get rid of you? Or maybe he's testing you, forcing you to show what you're made of. Somehow, he makes all these options seem plausible at once. Alright, I think that's enough lectures for today. He takes a glance at his silver watch. It's a Patek Philippe, the kind of brand mere mortals never see outside of luxury lifestyle magazines. Just who are you dealing with here? It's past 3 AM now. The sun will come up in just a few hours, so we don't have much time. Come, we need to leave so that the corpse can be taken care of. He turns his back on you to unlock the door. Why on earth is the second option viable? I'm a head out. You obediently follow him out of the room before he locks it again. You manage to take a final glimpse of the corpse. You feel a pang of conscience, but not because of your victim's horrible fate. It's because you don't feel guilty even though you know you should. Something important inside of you that was still there yesterday has definitely died tonight. You wonder if you'd even recognize yourself in the mirror. The stranger shows you to the elevator. You go to the ground floor. During an awkward ride, your dazed and confused mind desperately searches for a glimmer of hope, and eventually comes across one. Maybe you'll find the man you met earlier this night. Do you know who was the man who brought me here? That's what I like to know. Oh, so we were sired illegally. Tisk tisk, it's bloodlines all over again. That's what I'd like to know. As of yet, he is unidentified. They have left no trace, and it's obvious they're not planning to come back for you. If, and that's a big if, you ever see them again, it will be tomorrow, and probably for the last time. Wait, what do you mean, for the last time? His face is inscrutable. I said what I said. All I can add for now is, tomorrow is a big night for you. I love the artwork in this, by the way. The dynamic backgrounds are such a nice touch. The elevator door opens to an empty hall. You walk outside, past the night's guard, which is empty. The cold night air reminds you of the balcony. Just a few hours ago... Oh, right, that's one sentence. The cold night air reminds you of the balcony just a few hours ago. The man notions to a black Cadillac Escalade. Now, I don't know a lot about cars. That's a pretty dope ride. Take a seat in the back, please. Oh, and the artwork, the lighting on the sprite changes. That's cool. You get inside. The man closes the door behind you. You hear a click as it locks. The Cadillac is almost entirely dark. The side windows seem light-proof. The man gets into the driver's seat, starts the engine, and drives away without comment. I feel horrible. As you should. Oof. He gives you a little side glance in the rear-view mirror and bites his lip. Forgive me, I'm not in a talkative mood. This won't be a long drive. Patience. Dead silence fills the car. You close your eyelids and sink back into your thoughts. A blurry after-image of the man who bought your painting is still there. It's strange. You never felt this way about anybody. It makes you happy, even if you have the nagging thought that there is something fundamentally abusive about this attraction. But then the girl's hair slipped over the purple hoodie, and her blood, spilled over the cold floor, come into sharp focus. You wince. You want to cry, but it's as if there was no more tears left in you. After what feels like an eternity, the car comes to a stop. Yes, I hope he remains that nice as well. Maybe he's just doing it systematically, which I find highly likely. You get out in an underground parking lot. It's an ugly concrete grey thing. Empty. But for the car you came in, it looks like there's a room beyond a metal door in the wall. Guess you'll live to see another night. Follow me. He opens the metal door and lets you inside. Here we are. These are your lodgings for tonight. If you get hungry, again, take a look in the fridge. Tomorrow, I will come pick you up. The cramped room has no windows, just a simple bed, a single light bulb hanging from the ceiling, a small humming fridge, and a rattling AC in the wall, an AC fan in the wall. It has all the coziness of a solitary prison cell. You notice claw marks on the inner side of the entrance. I can't feel myself breathing. I can't sense my heartbeat. I need to go to a hospital, man. You're gonna be fine. Listen, normally I'd lose my nerve right about now and things would get nasty. But I get it. You're scared. You don't understand what happened. Trust me, you'll learn more tomorrow. But now, I need you to rest. And you need you to rest. He gestures inside the room. Finding no more willpower to resist, you step inside. All that does look cozy. The stranger nods contentedly. Good night. He locks the door behind you. It looks very secure and sturdy. You open the fridge. There's a single plastic bag there filled with red liquid, unlabeled. Tomato soup? You feel sick to your stomach. Best leave it for now. Yeah, it's not great. It's better than nothing, I suppose. You lie down on the bed. It's a simple mattress on a metal frame, kind of grimy and damp. Seeing it makes you grimace, but you're just too tired not to lie down. Your entire body hurts, a dull feeling that makes you feel heavy. You feel vulnerable and lonely. Usually when that happened, you turn your attention to painting, just not to think about the alternative. Your family upbringing left you with no skills but artistic talent. Creating art used to be something of an unpleasant duty. Oh, that's a shame. I got the impression he liked doing art. Somewhere along the line, though, it became the only weapon you had to fight for existential despair. Some of your best work was created in lieu of impotently crying in the bed. Hell, you're pretty sure a few of those pieces you had your tears mixed in with the paint. Oh, that's poetic. Like the paint that led your whole night to this. You look back at your life, and it starts looking like a downward spiral. You're so tired, your entire body tenses up, and before you know it, you drift away into oblivion. You wake up. Then in itself is a surprise. You barely remember when you drifted off. It didn't feel like sleep, more like plummeting into an endless void. Imagine that's how death feels like. The room is unchanged. The lamp is still on. The AC is still rattling. The refrigerator is still humming. You take a look at your watch. It's almost 9 p.m. You've slept for 17 hours straight. Maybe you died. Your breath is gone, and you feel no thumping in your chest. Does that qualify as dead if you're still conscious? You're not sure about that, but you're certain about one thing. You are hungry. It's not your stomach rumbling, though. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat, and the back of the head. You open the fridge. Yeah, that sound effect should have gone there. You open the fridge. The bag is still there. You take a closer look at it. If it is soup, then its colour and texture is off. You pull the cork out, take a whiff. You recognise the smell immediately. Holy shit. There's no mistaking it. It's bagged blood. The smell is faint, and you remember some situations in the past where you found it nauseating, but now it's almost... No, not almost. It is enticing. Ah, the little icons. Gotta drink the blood. Munch, munch, munch. Crunch, crunch, crunch. It feels wrong, but right now. There's barely anything in that life that doesn't. To hell with it. You pour a bit of the liquid into your mouth. It tastes bland. Reminds you of cheap supermarket juice. Just enough flavour to register what it claims to be on the box, but nothing like the real thing. Nothing like what you had last time. Yeah, that's a law thing. Bagged blood doesn't restore your hunger or blood points if you're using an older version of vampire as much as livestock, as it were. I don't remember if it's less or more than animals. I think it's the same. You swallow it. Somehow you don't feel sick. In a weird messed up way you can't help but think it feels nourishing. You take a few more sips, and then just another one. Suck on the bag a little more. Eventually, you would find that you've emptied it entirely. Or you look at the info pressed to the side of the bag. 450 millilitres of it. No, the narrator would not be this awful. I say no more than that. Even with its blandness, you still feel like having more. You realise your body longs for that intoxication high you felt when... An image of what corpse crosses your mind, causing you to wince. What have you become? You're trying to piece your thoughts together, make sense of it all, when you hear the lock click and see the door open. Standing there is a well-dressed stranger you met yesterday. Immaculate suit again, that predatory look, like a hawk on the hunt, but somehow more relaxed tonight. So, like a tamed hawk, maybe. Oh, a tamed hawk. Tamed. Jesus Christ, I can do English. So, like a tamed hawk, maybe. Good evening. Slept well? He noticed the discarded emptied bag. I see you had a bit of a snack. Yeah, tamed. That probably is a word. Am I still a human being? Luckily, one does not typically shed their entire humanity in 2 nights. You should be just fine. Come on, we've got places to be. The car is humming in the empty parking lot just outside the door of the cramped room you have spent the day in. The man motions to it, politely, with a stern look on his face. Why is violence the option? He's been so nice. Hijack the car. When I do a separate playthrough of this, I'm doing that. I'm just going to see how long it takes. But pretending that I'm a fledgling and I don't have a clue what's going on, I'm fooled by this guy's kindness. Fooled in quotation marks. Okay. Lead the way. after you. You take the back seat again. The door locks. The stranger takes the wheel and starts the car. You drive in silence for a while, from time to time. You keep trying to catch glimpses of familiar streets or landmarks through the blackened windows, but it's of little use. The car is also soundproofed, so all you can hear is a bit of traffic humming and the car's engines. The driver doesn't say anything and seems focused on the road. You check the door handle. Yeah, the door is locked all right. The piece of dark glass separating you and the front of the car looks sturdy too. There is nothing left to do but wait. You didn't have time to think about it before, but you realise now that you're hungry. No, not exactly. It's not a rumbling stomach that grabs your attention. It's a knee that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat, and back of the head. You try to extract some information out of the man behind the wheel, but you realise you'd prefer to bask in the afterglow of your last meal. You wouldn't have expected it, but you spend the rest of the trip lost in your thoughts. A lot of them concern blood. It takes you another 20 or so minutes to get to your destination. As the door opens, you try to get your bearings. You're still in New York, that much is certain. Queens, maybe? Wait. You know exactly where you are. The nice-looking two-story building has a logo you immediately recognise. The Art Hall, an avant-garde gallery used to hold that collection of bagged Fiscara and body parts by... You can't quite remember the guy's name. He's Brazilian, you think. Fabio something or other? After me. No sudden movements, please. You've never been inside. Not quite your style, but the place has quite the cult following. You keep racking your brain for more facts, hoping they'll help you with whatever you've got into. Two large men in suits flank the door to the gallery on both sides, and they give your companion a nod as you approach. Prompted by the stranger who guides you, you walk inside. The gallery is full, which is unusual this hour, to say the least. About 24 faces fill the showroom, and a number of waiters navigate the gathering, serving drinks. All of them are beneath the guests' attention. The visitors are well dressed for the most part, but it's unclear what they have gathered here for. Nobody seems to be particularly interested in the art pieces on the walls, and the atmosphere is... polite. Unnaturally so. I'm guessing this is a Camarilla story and this is Elysium. Many guests turn to look at you and the stranger who brought you here. Their glances are varied. You see the open contempt on a few faces and animated interest on others. Most of the eyes in the room calmly observe you, as if wishing to appraise your worth. Memories come back to you like a bad case of PTSD. How many times before had someone judged you, impassively or decisively, through your art? You'd share a piece of yourself with the world, and it was responded by making you feel like garbage. It always took a lot of effort to not lose your cool and tell all of them to shove their opinions up their collective asses. Now looking around, it feels like you've become another artworker's commodity to be judged by a bunch of obscenely wealthy, out of touch assholes. It makes you want to scream. That's a look. Alright, how on earth do you pronounce that? I'm gonna go with Quadir. Good evening, Quadir. And to you, child. The noble cold voice takes you out of your head and back to the situation at hand. The gallery. A crowd of strangers. You being brought here against your will. For what purpose? The room awaits your response. Good evening, miss. Kadir. Kadir? Is that it? Kadir. Cool, that's much easier on the tongue, thank you. You are addressing the Prince of New York, Helen Panhard, child of... that. Thank you, my sheriff. Of course, he's the sheriff. But I am capable of introducing myself. She is somewhat plain-looking and doesn't seem to possess a great deal of charm, but still the entire room is intently focused on her voice. She has influence over these people. That much is clear. You may address me as Prince, child. I realize your introduction into unlife was abrupt, and I understand your sire left shortly after. The rules of our society dictate I punish you both for this transgression. Well, thanks for joining in the game. Nope. A murmur of agreement, maybe, can be heard from the gathered audience. But I am willing to listen to what our local sheriff has to say about the circumstances of your embrace first. Wait, I'm confused. What are you saying? I think it shall all become clear momentarily. You were pushed head first into a world you have not realized the existence of. But before you can partake in it, there needs to be a trial. You are about to be judged by the Court of New York City. Kadir, please tell us how you found this fledgling and what happened on your way here. Court? Prince? Is this some kind of secret society make-believe? A trusted informant who was chosen to remain anonymous at this time tipped me off about a suspicious kindred appearing in one of our domains. Upon investigating, I found them gone, but this fledgling remained in their place. Interestingly, his sire made use of an older haven of one of the clan of the Rose for the embrace. They were even thoughtful enough to leave a local woman for the fledgling to slake his thirst on. Despite some reservations, he offered little resistance last night, and cooperated on our way to the safehouse. I was pleased to not force his compliance. We had a quick chat, but wishing to appear here post-haste, I urged him to join me, which he did without struggle. A pleasant departure from my usual routine, I must say. His thirst partially slaked with the bags of blood we kept in the safehouse. We had a pleasant enough drive here. The story ends with us arriving at Elysium tonight. I'm curious how different that conversation would have been if I decided to be a complete arsehole and attacked him and tried to steal his car. All eyes on you again. You take a special interest in one of the faces. It's a beautiful woman with curly, almost blood-red hair and a dress to match. You see her whispering to some dispatched man with an absent-minded look on his face. Who is she? You wonder. Thank you, Kadir. I take note of this fledgling's behaviour and will take it into consideration later. She turns her attention to you. First, there was a matter of your sire, the person who brought you where Kadir picked you up from last night. Who were they? He was beautiful, charismatic, charming, dark hair, a sort of artistic mess. He had an accent I couldn't recognise. He took notice of my art, bought a piece in fact. I want to meet him again. The last sentence came out almost involuntarily. You immediately feel ashamed, sounding like a sad puppy whimpering after their master. Oh. Yes, you do want to meet that man again. It's an urge deeper than you've ever felt. Maybe even love? Oh, the cheeky bastard blood-bonded us. No, that's idiotic. He never even introduced himself to you. He used you. That arsehole just plain used you. For what? Well, Kadir, does that sound familiar? No, it does not. Or at least not familiar enough. I will continue the search after we're done here. Yes. Well, I thought it more... you feel that you fall in love. Well, it depends. You get embraced by your sire. In this case, it's a Toreador, so you probably use a shitload of presents to make the individual feel, to make us feel that we were in love with him. Although it didn't say in the text, I presumed we drank from his blood at some point, because that's the only reason why I would think we would feel that we loved him. I mean, Toreadors, they may be the very artistic, humane-sounding ones, but they are some of the most sadistic and evil of the vampires, because of how they tie in with emotions and things, and they get bored of things very quickly. That's some excellent writing. I approve of that. Not my monologue, but... yes, very big sad face. That guy, he bought my painting at the gallery. Didn't pay in cash, I think. Maybe you can track him that way? Oh. Did your outlook on him change all of a sudden? He smirks, seemingly enjoying your misery. Personal jabs aside, thank you for that observation. I will investigate this later. What shall I do with the fledgling, my prince? What is your recommendation, my sheriff? The traditions are clear. Thou shalt only sire another with the permission of thine elder. If thou createst another without thine elder's leave, both thou and thy progeny shall be slain. I can't remember which tradition is that. I want to say it's the 5th. There's 6 of them. Or was it 7? 6 traditions. I am ready to fulfill my duty. Stay your hand for just a moment longer, Kadir. I wish to consult my council on this. Make sure everyone is in agreement. Of course. He seems strangely relieved. The prince leaves the main showroom, and a handful of people follow her out. You're about to ask this Kadir what all this talk of traditions and councils was, when the red-haired woman approaches the two of you. Sophie? Sheriff, I was wondering if I could have a word with the fledgling. That's the woman on the cover. What for? She lowers her voice in response. Come now, Kadir. We all know that the verdict is going to be. Let me speak to them. You might not have to stay in your hands tonight after all. Her words grab his attention, his face hard to read. It's like several emotions are struggling for domination: anger, sadness, hope, gratitude, resolve. I'll go get my sword. He steps out of the room the way you came, and you are left in the showroom with the woman in the red dress. She takes you aside, and the eyes of the remaining guests follow you. Well then, fledgling, you are in quite the pickle. What do you mean? I still don't understand what my crime is here. Poor thing. This really isn't your fault, but if you want to get out of here in one piece, you need to understand one crucial fact that seems to have eluded your grasp. Last night, you became a vampire. Wait. What? Oh yes, I'm well aware how ridiculous that sounds. It's the reason why we have these nicer words for it. Kindred. Being embraced. Having a sire. The fact remains. The being called vampires, you're looking at them. They're us. You glance around. Some of the guests still occasionally looking at you, commenting on you in hushed tones. Many of the patrons are pale. Really pale. Most hold glasses of wine. Yeah, wine. No, not wine. That's not the right thickness, and not the right colour either. You're trying to come up with something sensible to say, but you're drawing a blank. It makes a morbid kind of sense. You drank blood last night, there's no denying it. And your breathing has not returned, and your heart remains still. A vampire. Two voices in your head start battling for supremacy. One of them slowly begins to put everything that happened since yesterday together, coming to a conclusion that no matter how insane it may seem, nothing but what she's saying makes sense. The other voice just keeps saying, "What the fuck? What the fuck?" on repeat. You're surprised. This is often how it plays out by design, Kadir deliberately keeping you in the dark and all. If we do nothing, you'll be cut down, as sure as the day follows night. But I'm here to offer you a chance, a way out, under one condition. I will take you under my wing. If you're lucky, the prince will be in a good mood tonight, and your deference to Kadir will work in your favour. She might agree to this, but only if you swear fealty to me. No, we're doing the Toreador route. Malkaven isn't a playable clan for this. Venshu and Bruja are the other two. Or Bruja. I am not making this offer lightly. As your patron, I will take responsibility for you. Your actions will reflect me. If they reflect negatively, well, I'll make sure you face the consequences. So basically, for any of the newbies, she's offering to be our adoptive sire, as it were. I don't like any of those options. What happens if I refuse? I believe I know what the prince will ordain, and I am certain Kadir will do his duty. You, my poor fledgling, will die. For good, this time. With me, there's a chance you will not. I can be your guide in this new reality. Steps and hushed voices can be heard from the side room. It seems that the prince and her council are returning to the showroom. Kadir appears from downstairs as well and starts walking towards you. When you hear the verdict, ask to be spared. I will intervene. Remember my condition. She flashes a heart-melting smile towards Kadir, who does not smile back. The sheriff's immaculate suit is now complemented by a curved oriental-looking metal scabbard, Jesus, fastened with a colourful sash around his waist. It would look vaguely ridiculous if it wasn't surprisingly intimidating first and foremost. Kadir takes his place next to you and observes as the prince takes centre stage again. Loyal kindred of the New York City Camarilla gathered here tonight. I have made my decision regarding this fledgling. Yes, I have. This is the very first time I've started playing the game. It's out on PS4 today. It was on Switch yesterday, PC late last year. I have no idea what's going to happen. Yeah, going in with this blind. She briefly addresses you. I want you to know that this was not an easy decision to make. For your part, you have not done anything to earn your ear. I do feel a genuine sorrow for what must be done. We are all keenly aware that these nights we need to close our ranks and trust the wisdom of our elders and the traditions more than ever before. There is no place for tolerating dissent with our very existences under constant threat, although I acknowledge some of my council's divergent opinions on this. She takes a look specifically at one of the people who left the room before, a rather plainly dressed, shy-looking man, whose skin has somewhat healthier tone. He bows his head in deference. I hold the final authority over the fledgling's fate, and I declare that while they embrace my being their sire's responsibility, in their absence, it is their progeny that must be punished. The sentence is final death, to be resolved presently. Kadir? You hear a scraping sound and see what the sheriff has unsheathed his curved sword. Fun fact, swords don't actually make that noise when they're sheathed. It is a beautifully detailed blade, with what you expect must be worth a small fortune. Its apparent sharpness makes you freeze up. 2 outs, bottom of the 9th. His quiet mumble is audible to nobody but you. As his eyes meet yours, you note just as a hint of sadness in his countenance, one that quickly vanishes to give way to grim determination. And he's out to bat. You will not get another chance to speak up. Remain silent. You make your choice. I don't want to die. Spare me, please. Prince, if I may ask you to stay the sheriff's hand for a while longer. Coterador looks at the prince, awaiting her response. The sword is still hanging above you, threatening to fall at a moment's notice. Is there something you'd like to say, Miss Lansley? Yes, if I may. At first, the prince looks somewhat annoyed at the distraction, but she stays quiet for a while, measuring the mood in the room. The bored elite suddenly looks at you with aroused interest, some of them dismayed at not seeing the bloodshed, but all intrigued by the unexpected twist. The prince nods. Well, let's hear it. Sophie takes a step forward. All eyes are on her now, but Coterador's heavy hand on your shoulder makes it clear you won't take advantage of the distraction. My prince, while the traditions are clear, I believe that the proper context should be observed in addition to the letter of our laws. This fledgling is a burden, but without proper guidance, they could become an asset to our domain. Now I understand you are volunteering to take his sireless child under your protection. Yes, I happen to think they may hold a certain potential that would be unfortunate to waste. I do expect their full cooperation, of course. Whispers can be heard again. An incredulous voice or two. A hushed, just behead the fucker. Some suppressed exclamations of surprise. Silence. I ask all of you to make note of this moment. I might be persuaded to bend one tradition in this child's favour, but another will have to be enforced even more firmly in its stead. Until thy progeny shall be released, thou shalt command them in all things. Their sins are thine to endure. Are you certain that's a responsibility you wish to shoulder, Miss Langley? I am willing to guide this fledgling and add a valuable ally to our sect in our time of need, yes. But I would like to receive the right of destruction over them, if that pleases you. Oh Christ. That means if we do something bad, she will kill us. Basically. It's clear tensions are high. It feels surreal to listen to strangers discussing your death, or second death, apparently, and keeping silent. You decide it's for the best to let Sophie handle this alone and not interject. You have no idea how to handle this eyes wide shut crowd. The prince looks at you if weighing your worth. She takes another good measure of the room before she speaks again. I shall grant what you ask. Let it be known, Sophie Langley of the Clan of the Rose, another Toreador, will become this fledgling's patron. They shall be considered like sire and child. Miss Langley will take full responsibility for them, and I grant her the right of destruction, if she sees fit to use it. Let my intentions be clear, however. If I am to turn a blind eye to one of our most important traditions on this occasion, I expect it to be beneficial to the Camarilla. Substantially so. I hope you find this verdict satisfactory, Miss Langley. Of course, Prince. Thank you. Very well. She turns to you. What is your name, child? For the default name for this is Lamar, but someone who was watching this came up with a great name of Caesar. Shouldn't I use a nickname? We'll go with the proper name. Caesar. Prince. She nods. Welcome to the Camarilla, Caesar. Now this evening proved to be even more eventful than I anticipated, but with the fledgling's fate decided, I believe our meeting here can conclude. Thank you all for appearing on such short notice. Give my regards to those who couldn't make it. Kadir, a moment of your time before I let you return to your duties. Of course, Prince. He shoots you aside, a glance that doesn't leave much space for interpretation. You will be watched. You will be judged, and if need be, you will be punished. The two of them leave the gallery. Well, Caesar, I think we've both already managed to significantly improve each other's evenings. That is such a Toreador thing to say. But let's keep the ball rolling, shall we? I think we should have a toast to a new fruitful partnership. She raises a hand at one of the well-dressed who has now reappeared in the showroom to refill the guests' glasses. The conveniently handsome man approaches with that of red liquid. He pours into 2 glasses. It's blood again. That much is clear. You're in two minds about drinking it, but the memory of last night's hunger makes you wince. You take a tentative sip. That was difficult to read. You expected the same blandness you tasted a few hours ago, but this is one you can actually savour. It's smoky and warm, making you think of a cosy cabin in the woods. Yeah, pretty much we're right at the bottom of the food chain. It does strike you as a strange image for your mind to jump to when drinking human blood, but it is what it is. You never tasted anything like it. Do you like it? I think NYC caterers have very bourgeois ideas about what good blood should taste like. Apologies, you must have so many questions. While we're on the topic, perhaps we should start with those related to sustenance. It's kind of weird that you have waiters serving blood. Where do you get it from? That can be a bit of a touchy subject. Let's just say that most of the blood available at events like this is crowd-funded. Did I get that right? It's hard to keep track of modern language. Hello there, Jaded. I presume the last J is Jester. Thank you. Thanks for joining. What's the question, Milk? Why are they want to mean to you? Yeah, you're not supposed to exist. If it's keeping up with V5 law, there's lots of vampire hunters going around. New York's in a bit of a tricky situation. Ah, hello there. Jaded Jester. Nice to see you. So yeah, Milkless, going back to your question, it's you're not supposed to exist, touchy law subjects. If you're because you don't know anything, you could just go around doing willy-nilly and just let everybody know that vampires exist and just cause lots of trouble. So nipping a weed by the roots is often the best way of dealing with a problem. Immoral, perhaps, but this is the law of vampires. At any rate, what I mean is that there is a plethora of... I couldn't read that. A plethora of vessels on tap. As for where to get blood when you're not at Elysium, tomorrow I shall take you hunting and we will explore this topic further. What you need to know right now is no matter how much you drink, you will always be tempted to have more, unless you consume somebody wholly to the last drop, but even that doesn't last. Best start is just by taking a single sip from a vessel. Be prudent. Hot, fresh blood is more satiating than most anything that can be served in fancy glass, but it can make you more... I don't know how to pronounce that. More something. As to how much you should have, it depends. If you're frugal, you can survive many nights without a single drink, but it's risky, and it will tempt the beast that is part of our curse. The beast you mentioned, is that a metaphor, or... Oh, it's quite real. Although it's not strictly a physical sense. It lives in all of us. Our nature and hunger manifest. Voracious. The more religious among us connect it to the biblical Cain, the rage of the first murderer, cursed by God, sea fiend in all of his descendants. However, I, however, am a child of the Enlightenment. Of the Enlightenment. So like a path of enlightenment. Or... Anyway, I, however, am a child of the Enlightenment. Not that it makes my struggle any easier. I think you are on a path of enlightenment. I have to beware like other kindred in this city and beyond. Ah, okay, so path of enlightenment's different from humanity. She's acknowledging she's completely inhumane, but sticks to a series of moral codes. There's so many paths of enlightenments that make each kindred stay away from their beast. Individual kindred have a unique relationship to their beast. What is yours going to be remains to be seen. But you do need to keep it under control. Each outburst endangers not just you, but also the Masquerade. That returns, asks for permission to intrude, which Sophie gives with a polite smile, and leans in to whisper in her ear. You note that the gallery is now almost empty. I'm being told the gallery is just about to close, but we still have quite a lot to discuss. We'll go to one of my apartments. My jalapé is waiting downstairs. Come. The smile she puts on makes you remember last night's encounter in the showroom. A similar eagerness to spend time with this person overtakes you momentarily, and you follow her outside. Your sixth sense tells you that she's an artistic soul too, and you unwittingly start projecting good qualities onto her. I think that would be a good place to end it for now, before she goes on to more of the game and more deep lore. I'm really enjoying this. Well, I'm really enjoying reading this out to you. And thank you ever so much for everybody for coming along, listening to me read this to you. Thank you, Milkless, for helping me with my pronunciations. And thank you, whoever it was that gave our Toreador the name of Caesar. Love it. I don't know when I'm going to stream this again. It'll probably be irregular, with the whole coronavirus isolation thing with my family and everything. So don't expect this to be a weekly thing. If I can do it, I will do it. If not, well, I won't, obviously. And they all may be longer or shorter than an hour and a half. I shall end this, and then this should be processed and uploaded onto YouTube proper, where you can watch it any time you please. Thank you very much, Milkless. Thank you very much, Jaded Jester. It has been said before, and I often am in great doubt about the qualities of my voice, so it's nice to see that people tell me off. Of course, I could not possibly forget to end the proper way. If I remember to hit the right controls and buttons properly. I'm still very new to this. Where is the button? Broadcast settings. You too, Jaded Jester. Until next time, farewell.